Well, welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. We got a new face here on Talking Fitchburg in our update from Fitch-Rona EMS. We have, I'm going to read my note here because I don't want to screw this up, Deputy Chief of Training and Operations, Devon Anders. How's it going, sir?
It's going well.
How about that intro? Could it get any better than that?
No, I like the...
Yeah, I have to make my own sound effects. That's the world we live in.
That's not part of the budget.
Well, they probably could add them in afterwards, but that'd be too much work, and then you would get picked on because they gave you sound effects.
That's all right.
Just saying. Devon, we've been talking here a little bit and reminiscing on, I've shared on the show before that I've been on the ambulance before, so it's fun to talk in general with
Absolutely.
with EMS personnel. But your role is kind of unique in the fact that you get to do some training, some operations, some calls, It's the jack of all. I think of it as a jack of all trades. What would you say?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And one word answer, done.
No, all the chiefs at Fitch-Rona all kind of do double duty. And even if it's not in your job title, we're tasked with different things on a day-to-day basis just to make sure everything kind of operationally and administratively gets taken care of. So it's not like I have more work than anyone else by any stretch of the imagination. And the operational side is obviously where most of us come from before taking any leadership roles. So that part seems easy. It isn't always easy. But training is definitely a new role for me. Period. I've done supplies and CQI and building and grounds maintenance and medication ordering and all of these other things, but I've never been directly tasked with training. So although a little apprehensive about what that means in scale, I was still really excited to kind of come onto Fitch-Rona and take a stab at it, if you will. So
yeah, and I jumped course to ask you first off if I was a good media guy to ask you who is Devon, the background that's a Devon, but instead I just skipped right into what do you do? What do you do? But Devon,
do both.
So you obviously paramedic, but for people who are not, don't know you, how can we get to know Devon?
Well, new to Fitchburg and Verona, not necessarily new to Dane County at all. Been a lifelong resident. Live in Cottage Grove with my wife Marissa and my son and daughter Jackson and Charlie. We also have a furry one named Murph.
Murph, love it.
Murph the Snurf. But my career started basically in Cottage Grove. We'll take a step back. First was in law enforcement, and then moved over to the EMS and fire side, and was at Deer Grove EMS for about 15 years. Holding different roles from intern to part-time employee to full-time employee, and then lieutenant as well. And great department, great people there, but this opportunity at Fitch-Rona opened up, and thought I'd put my name in.
You mentioned it because again, you get to try some things that for paramedics and in the EMS, you're always doing training. I mean,
we are.
If you're not doing calls and you're resting up, you're training. I mean,
absolutely.
you're and the stuff has changes constantly. It's part of why you do the training. But what are some of the trainings for people who are not familiar with what you guys are going through on a regular basis? Just some of the training.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. So we have medical directors at every EMS agency, and ours is through the UW EMS Consortium. Their task is to make sure that we are continuing to get all of our continued education. Every 2 years for national and every 3 years for state, we actually have to renew our licenses, and there's specific requirements throughout that on both of those lists that you need X number of hours. That is not my job. My job actually is to talk to staff and see what they need. And even before I came on, one of the things that was identified was, hey, we have all this awesome tools and equipment to be able to help assist the public whenever they may need it, but we don't always use those things. So we say the big scary stuff. We don't use those every day. And it's imperative for all of us as paramedics that we know how to use those at any time, and how do we become more comfortable with them? And so when I was creating my whole first year training calendar, I focused on all of those things. I call them high acuity but low use. So things like our IV pumps, our ventilators, our POCUS, or point of care ultrasound. That's what is going on this month. We have these really fancy cot scales, and I say really fancy, but they actually give us perfect weights. And there's so many medications that we give that are weight-based. How do we make sure that those are going to be accurate every single time we use them? And then there's other things. How do we work collectively with the fire departments on both of our sides of town to be the best caregivers we can be during cardiac arrest and other high acuity calls?
A high acuity call, what would that reference?
Yeah, so layperson talk, right? A high acuity call is something that we would say is more or less like life-threatening or could potentially get to that. Generally speaking, those are people who are actively having strokes, heart attacks, cardiac arrest, respiratory issues, but not just they've got a cough or they're a little bit short of breath, but maybe a severe asthmatic or somebody who's having an allergic reaction, something where the things or interventions we do in that moment will affect the outcome.
I mean, I assume with the training then, for those items you mentioned that you're not using all the time, if you're not using it, how do you remember how to use it? And you've got a lot of tricks in the bag, so to speak, to use for different calls and stuff. So getting your hands on it and doing the different trainings, that's how you're going to build up the skills to be at 2 a.m. and trying to figure out how to turn the dang thing on. You're ready to go.
Correct, and you are battling in your example, sleep deprivation, fatigue. That's when fine motor movements become more and more difficult. So how do we build that muscle memory to make it automatic?
Well, I hope that we get you back on the show and I get to play with no, I'm just kidding. The good thing is we got to highlight all these, and you were telling me about some fun things that you guys got on the department here. Patrick has mentioned them in past interviews, so we'll be coming out and highlighting those. But more importantly, welcome to Fitch-Rona, and we look forward to having you here on the show regularly.
Well, we appreciate that.
You didn't know that, but
I appreciate that. Yeah, right.
Patrick's like, hey, by the way, this guy's going to be here from now on. That's how management works.
I know. Yeah, being the new guy, right?
Exactly. Either way, welcome aboard, Devon, and look forward to having you in the future.
Hey, appreciate it.
First one in the books.